One of the big questions that I have seen asked lately is why there seems to be an increase in encounters with cryptid creatures. Granted, there could be a lot of natural factors that are contributing to this uptick, but I have an idea that might be plausible. For several years I have been hearing people talk about the concept of a fake rapture, and visitation by alien beings being brought about by the powers that be. I never really paid much attention to this idea because there is little factual mechanics present that we are able to use to validate this concept. Yes, we have UFO sightings and lots of general strangeness happening all over the world. However, if there is some diabolical plan to fake a rapture, or even the tribulation period, it makes sense to me that you would want to make it as real as possible. As we know, there seems to be a fascination with altering time, or timelines among some of our fellow man. In order to fake these events it would be necessary to attempt to move them into a different time frame. This is a travesty against humankind, and an abomination in itself. One of the things mentioned in the Bible is that the giants will return upon the face of the earth. Where are they returning from? Caverns, caves, underground labyrinths, or is it that they are coming from a hollow earth? If you were attempting to move this particular event into a different timeline, you would need to figure out a way to make the giants come from beneath the surface of the earth. We know that there have been worldwide reports of explosions taking place with no seemingly verifiable point of origin. Could this be detonations set off to collapse areas that are underground to seal the area off? It makes sense to me that if there was something that I was trying to herd into a particular spot, that I would try to seal off any areas I could until I pushed it to where I wanted it. Herding to the surface would be an easy task using this method. Another factor to look at could be the loud trumpet-type sounds that are being heard across the world. Could these be calls of some type? We can look at this in one of two ways: either they are calls to draw cryptids to the surface, or they are calls that cryptids don't like that are being used to push them into a particular direction. It makes sense to me that if I were trying to get cryptids to come to the surface, I would utilize these methods. I don't claim to be an expert on anything, but in order to figure out what is really going on in our world, we must question everything. What if? Is a question that I ask myself often, and once I formulate a possible answer to that question, I try to test it to see if it holds any validity. That is what we should all be doing, instead of going along with what everyone has said for years, and ending up at the same place where you started. I don't claim to be right about this concept, but the more serious question you should ask is, what if I am right?